Being able to have quality, safe housing is so important. I mean, we all saw it during the pandemic. Health and housing goes hand in hand. So being able to have somewhere where our residents feel safe, that they feel like they can protect their family is going to be really important.
I'm Helen McIlvain, and I'm the City of Alexandria's Housing Director. So in mid-March of 2020, the pandemic was at our doorstep. We knew that many of our neighbors were really struggling. They were losing jobs, and we began to realize that if this were to last any longer, there would be many, many families that would really struggle to maintain their housing. Mayor Wilson issued a letter, and our office helped distribute it to all of Alexandria's apartment communities. And in it, he said, we're all in this together. We found out that we were going to get a special type of federal CDBG funds that could be used for COVID. We were able to go to council that week and say that we had an idea for potentially providing enough rental assistance to families that were behind. We were joined by many other colleagues throughout the city to reach out to people to help them process applications.
Okay, I'm Melody Sayal. I'm a division chief in the Alexandria Office of Housing. I have been with the city for 27 years.
My name is Annette Bridges. I've been with the city for 20 years, and I work with the Office of Youth Development.
We got a special grant from the federal government through the Community Development Block Grant to assist specifically with rental assistance needs for COVID. We had to set up a program in a couple of months in order to disperse this money. It was about $5 million. We added the Amazon call center so that we had people like Annette and Luis who were staffing the phones continuously. And that required that we get assistance from other departments. So,
hi, my name is Luis Abarca. I'm with the City of Alexandria Department of Finance, Revenue Division. Mi nombre es Luis Abarca. Trabajo para el Departamento de Finanzas de la Ciudad de Alexandria, para el Departamento de Colecciones. I worked for the city for over 24 years. I was born in Peru. I was blessed to come to America 40 years ago. I had a couple of days off, and during the weekend I got an email. I was not really know exactly what it's about, but the city needs help, especially because I'm bilingual. They request my assistance. I call my supervisor, say, you ought to report to the housing department, and they will help you. What it's all about, really? I mean, what am I supposed to do? Taking now is a giving is a change, which I graciously took it. So the reality in the city is that a lot of the people that I serve do not speak basic English. So approaching them and showing that the city really wants to help them, it was sometimes difficult because the lack of identity on themselves, paperwork, was the reality of the city in some cases. So nobody trains you for that.
So our Emergency Operations Center recruited people for us to act as customer service representatives to distribute this rental assistance. So we set this up. We launched it in May, near the end of May of 2020. We were able to assist, I think, about 1,600 people, and people like Luis and Annette. All of our staff was reassigned to staff these phones and take applications.
So when they called about rental assistance, I would make sure that they were eligible, and then we would go from there. But anytime that I called them, they answered the phone, and they made my case a priority.
First of all, it was a very great experience, and I can tell that I understand the people from police department, fire department, and everybody involved during the pandemic. It was an experience I'm never going to forget.
I'm Jerry Thomas, part of the Southern Towers management team. At Southern Towers, our team has had significant interaction with the City of Alexandria staff and saw firsthand how professional and sensitive they handled the issues with the outreach to our residents. The outreach was to inform and aid individuals in securing rental assistance that was available through the city in response to the global pandemic. Representatives from the City of Alexandria were on site at Southern Towers on multiple occasions throughout the pandemic and worked side by side with the Southern Towers team. They collectively assisted our residents with applying for rental assistance, setting up COVID vaccination sites, and providing information on other city support programs that were offered. The city's pandemic funds delivered approximately $3.65 million in rental assistance to the residents of Southern Towers. This was a tremendous support for hundreds of families that live here in the community.
Yeah, so my name is Elisa Mondragon. I am the Vice President of Operations at Alexandria Housing Development Corporation. I have been with the organization since 2017. I'm originally a native of Mexico City, and I moved to Alexandria just a few months before I joined AHDC. So Alexandria Housing Development Corporation, also known as AHDC, we're a nonprofit real estate developer that serves exclusively the city of Alexandria. And we are here to build our community and help with community development. So the Blue Map product is one out of our 9 communities that we own and operate in Alexandria with a partnership with the Carpenter Shelter. So we will continue to provide services in Alexandria. AHDC got involved with the rent assistance prior to the pandemic. We saw the need for our residents to have emergency assistance when something like a car breakdown come up or an unexpected hospital bill, and that derailed them completely from their expenses and often ended up with an eviction. Then the pandemic happened and a lot more people needed assistance. So we used that groundwork that we started doing and building relationships with our residents to coordinate additional assistance either with grant providers, banks, Act for Alexandria, and also the city. When they started providing more organized rent assistance, we were able to work directly with them and facilitate the conversation that our residents needed, because a lot of them felt like they couldn't turn into anyone, not the city, not anyone, because they were afraid of getting evicted if they told anyone that they didn't have any money. We're able to secure funding to keep residents safe in their homes.
In December, the state of Virginia took over, and only jurisdictions with populations of over 600,000 had the option of doing it themselves. The state, our population is just under 200,000. So we had to start referring people. We had to move them over from our program to the state's rental assistance program. The Eviction Prevention Task Force was established during the time when our program was just beginning to operate. The Eviction Prevention Task Force has city agencies, which include the Office of the Department of Community and Human Services, the Office of Housing, and the Office of Performance Analytics. And we meet with them along with our community partners, Legal Services of Northern Virginia, faith-based community organizations which help provide financial assistance to people in need. We have partners from Tenants and Workers United, Community Lodgings, Edu Futuro, Carpenter Shelter, and other organizations that have come together. We have a group that meets still on a continuous basis every week. We go over all of the people that are in the eviction pipeline.
Hi, I'm Kate Garvey. I'm the Director of the Department of Community and Human Services. Our department worked in partnership with many other city departments and also so many wonderful nonprofit partners to really focus on the eviction crisis that we were facing during the pandemic. And I'd have to say too, going forward with the reduction in the resources available from the state, we've got to really be vigilant. And the Eviction Prevention Task Force is working so well in focusing on what are the systems that we need to have in place to ensure that we keep people housed. As funding is dropping out, we've got to make sure that the systems that we put in place really protect people and keep us on top of what's coming in the future.
Like Kate, I'm proud to say that our efforts together led to 3,000 Alexandria families remaining stably and securely in their housing throughout the pandemic.
I think the only thing is just how grateful we are to how the community has responded, and it's nonprofit organizations, the faith community, and residents. We're so focused on how can we help and how can we work together, and without that we wouldn't have achieved what we have. So I think that's something, and that again is absolutely representative of what Alexandria is. It's how do we use the best in all of us to assure that our residents are protected and are successful. And so I think we are extremely grateful.
Yeah, and at every step of the way, our city council said,
Oh.
what do you need?
Yes.
And, that was a tremendous amount of support for our work and for understanding who was impacted. Just when Kate or I would be with them, they would say, what more do you need? So
Absolutely.
their support was critical as well.
That's a great point.
Well, housing is clearly the foundation of everyone's lives. It also had so many important connections to remaining healthy and staying healthy. And I think the other thing that we've learned from that is that as a community, working together, we can achieve great things under the most adversarial of circumstances. And even when we're not all together working in one room, we've figured out how to pull together a network that can really deliver services to the community very effectively.